to Yesterday, Today, Tomorrow. My name is Mariana Cordier, and I am your host. Our guests today are going to discuss the challenges of restaurant businesses, being in the restaurant business, the hunger in our communities, and how to use local produce in their everyday foods that are provided by restaurants. It's an exciting food show. So are you ready? My guests are Nomi Hamid. He's the owner and creator of Crazy Kebab and Virtual X Kitchen. We have Chef George Rodriguez, who is a restaurateur who's opening up in Rockville, a tapas restaurant. And we have Alan Boltier. He is the owner of Starlight Cafe and Farm. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me. And I wanted to start with Nomi. What is a virtual kitchen?
Thank you so much for having me on your show today. It's a pleasure and honor to be here. That's a very good question. That's the big question for everyone. What is a virtual kitchen? What is a ghost kitchen? Think about it this way. It is a kitchen which hosts multiple food restaurants, in my case, by local chefs that I'm going to start doing, where you can purchase everything online to be picked up or delivered to you. So you can't physically come inside, sit down, and have a meal, but you can go online. Our virtualxkitchen.com website, which is being built right now, you'll be able to, if somebody wants a burger, somebody can get a burger. Somebody wants a burrito, they can get a burrito from Crazy Burrito. Somebody wants kebab, they can get a kebab from the kebab joint, and pay in one ticket and come pick up and take it to go. But also then you have your delivery options through all the third-party vendors like Uber, DoorDash, Grubhub, etc.
And that's new. That's not something that's common, is it?
No, it's not common. It is very new. It is growing the space is growing very rapidly. And it also lets people who want to get into this industry and don't have $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 lying around to come in and test out a new food concept and be able to automatically, immediately come online to a third-party platform from our kitchen using all of our equipment.
So does that make it easier to start up a restaurant?
Yes, you can say so. It makes it a lot easier to start up a restaurant, start up a concept that you think would go and move. You don't have very much of an initial investment to make. And so something for Virtual X Kitchen that I am looking to do is not bring in any national chains or anything, but moreover local chefs or people who want to explore the space. The food and beverage industry, I have such a big passion for. I'm a chef myself. I create everything that my restaurants serve. And now I'm into the Virtual X Kitchen space where I have my Crazy Kebab, Crazy Burrito, the kebab joint, catering by Nomi, as well as bringing in others soon too.
To try it out. That's exciting, and kind of is a great segue in introducing Chef George, who is coming to Rockville soon. What's it like in this pandemic environment that we are in, opening a restaurant?
Well, thank you for having me on your show. I think what we want to do really is to help the community. And we saw what COVID did with the local area. I myself live around here, and we want to really to help to repopulate the restaurants that were decimated, unfortunately, by COVID financially. And we were able to find this spot that we are right now, and maybe to bring a little bit more diversity as well to the region. And by that, helping the community, to have this space that previously they were empty, to have a restaurant that will serve some family kind of food that you can have and enjoy, and maybe bring a little bit, from a little bit of Spain to the region as well.
So let me ask you, because I have heard that, sometimes the hardest part about opening a restaurant is not the food part, it's the licensing and inspections and all that kind of the business side. What's your experience been?
Definitely, this part of the business is a little bit challenging, especially with COVID now. We have a lot of the restaurants that are opening, but also because the government part of this business, like the Department of Health and Fire Department, they're basically being overrun with requests for license and permits. It's a process that it might take a little bit longer, especially now with COVID. It's take a little bit longer actually, but we're working with the local government to try to push through, and also in a process to help other restaurants that are trying to open as well.
That's exciting. And I'm so looking forward to some tapas in Rockville.
We will have that soon.
Yes. So, Alan, I wanted to talk to you about something I found so fascinating. And not being in the restaurant business, I had no idea that in California, they started the trend of farms and local produce being used at restaurants. And you've been doing this for more than 20 years in North Carolina. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, my mother's Belgian, we're European, and in Europe and Mexico and Asia, farmers markets have been around forever. And anytime you go, you'll see some local chefs there with their basket buying produce or whatever. And California kind of picked up on that early, and it just seemed, it's a natural thing to do if you're interested in fresh food.
And how does that help out with the restaurants? Because I know you've had Starlight Cafe for a long time. How does that help you out with the issues, like, for instance, that are popping up now about supply chain and produce being available, being shipped, that kind of stuff?
Well, it allows us to be a little more flexible. For instance, right now, about 2 weeks ago, we harvested sweet potatoes and yams. And so we run specials every night. And so everyone's eating sweet potatoes right now at our restaurant. And peanuts, we just harvested peanuts. And so it just gives us, it gives us more flexibility to, we're not connected directly to our big food suppliers and what they have to offer.
And Chef Nomi, what about for your Crazy Kebab and other restaurants? What challenges have you guys been facing with regard to the pandemic?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the pandemic, we really pivoted a lot for Crazy Kebab. Crazy Kebab used to be a standalone restaurant in downtown College Park, which now then we had to let go of, not because of the pandemic, but because of them tearing down the building to rebuild over there. And so when I was thinking of next steps, thought, what, let's get into this whole ghost kitchen thing, because I was already testing it out. Now that I am in the ghost kitchen area, and we're doing very well, we're having an issue with supply chain, right? Everyday prices are just going up like 2-3 times. Lettuce, for example, romaine lettuce, what used to be $20 a case, right now is hitting close to $50-$60.
Wow.
Everything is just, meat prices, and for us, especially because we're all halal, we use halal meat only, so it's already high, but now it's going even higher. Luckily, I'm not doing wings, because the case for price of case of wings right now is over $200 per case.
So what's the lesson, or what options do you have when something like that happens?
Be very flexible, especially on packaging. You have to be very flexible. You should have 2 to 3 different options. We focus a lot on our packaging. We make sure our packaging is proper, because we are, nearly 100% delivery and pickup. And so if one thing is out of stock, make sure you have an alternative. Have multiple vendors. I used to only work with one vendor when I was at Crazy Kebab. Right now, I work with 4 to 5 different vendors. And if one doesn't have it, then I have to go to the next. If that one doesn't have it, then I have to go to the next. So you really can't burn any bridges anymore. You have to do what they say, accept what they say to you. A lot of these big companies aren't even accepting newer clients, but because I've been around for so long, I've had these relationships. So build these relationships with all, and Chef George, that'd be very important for you as well, to build relationships with as many. I mean, don't just be like, okay, I'm going with Cisco, so that's it, right? Right now, I'm working with all locals. Salvo Foods is local, Bowie Produce is local, Leonard Paper is local. I'm working with all locals, but I have the nationals as well that I keep in contact with.
And Chef George, what's it like for thinking about staffing? I mean, what are the challenges with staffing right now?
Well, right now we are facing a shortage on the hospitality industry with the staffing. We hope that will change soon, but right now what we're looking at is, you know, for example, myself over here, we're looking to open a restaurant with a very reduced staff. So also that ties up with you being a little bit more flexible with your menu and your what are you offering really. The lucky part that I have is Spanish tapas are a very simple food, very easy food to make and produce. You know, everything else is really hospitality. And that's what we're facing right now. And hopefully we're able to pay better wages because that's been a long lasting problem with the restaurant industry as a whole. So we can pay better wages to people so they can come and work in restaurants again. And they will come back. We're looking into probably a few more months. You know, the pandemic still raging on, but soon we definitely going to go back to normal.
And you know, when we talk about, you know, the food and the suppliers and the staff and that kind of stuff, something that doesn't occur to people is climate change and how it affects growing some of your produce from like the local farms, or Alan, in your case, your farm. What are some of the concerns or things that you've noticed how climate change is affecting you?
Well, it's getting hotter and drier down here in North Carolina. And when we came here from California, we were very used to seeing drip irrigation because we lived in the Central Valley of California. It's all irrigated, but not much of it was going on here in North Carolina. But now every single plant on our farm, except for some of the older trees, are all irrigated with with drips.
You know, you mentioned to me something that I did not realize, that vegetables grow better in cooler weather than hot weather. Is that something that you guys are looking at to figure out a way around for North Carolina that's so hot and humid?
Well, we're growing more in the winter now. Right now we have strawberries that we put in about 3 weeks ago, and they'll just kind of hibernate during the winter, but the winters are getting milder. And I've witnessed it myself after being living here 20 years. And it's just changing. A lot has to be, you just have to adapt to how things are being affected and the kinds of vegetables and fruits we grow. For instance, we just put in muscadine, a small vineyard of muscadines. Well, it's a native grape from North Carolina, actually, and is very resistant to the heat here. And the kind of grapes that they grow, for instance, in California or even in the mountains of North Carolina, those varieties don't do well with the humidity is a big aspect to it. And for instance, the sheep, we raise sheep here, and we have a breed of sheep called Gulf Coast natives. And they were brought over here from when the Spanish came to America, and they went wild down in the South in Alabama, Mississippi, Florida, and adapted to the almost semi-tropical climate. Well, we have them here now, and they have no problems with the heat in the summer, and things like that.
Well, they probably would do better than I would because the humidity kills me down in the South. But so that adaptability, does that mean, Chef Nomi, that you're going to have to be more adaptive to those changes in your menus instead of those traditionally set menus that has everything under the sun and everyone can expect it always to be there?
Yeah, so I would say for a full service restaurant, moreover, like Chef George's, they would have to be more adaptive than I would. For ghost kitchens, we're completely virtual, we're online. So at any second, if we want to take something out, we'll just hit a button and the dish has vanished. And we've had to do that, for example, with the Jarritos line, right? Jarritos is a soda, Jarritos lime, Jarritos pine. There's nothing in the market right now. So we had to take it off all of our platforms because we cannot serve Jarritos soda. So, we're just going with boiling right now. And what we're hearing is that they cannot have their glass being made at the current moment. So they're switching into plastic bottles now. So there's, yes, we do have to be very on what's there, what's not there. But definitely the good thing with us is we just have someone sitting behind a computer who can make that change. So if an ingredient is missing or we need to change it, all we have to do is go online and type it into one platform, which changes it for everything for us. So
and how does your clientele respond to that? I mean, are they receptive to all these different changes, or is there some issues that they come back?
No, they're very receptive to it. I think they're receptive to it because on the other side, they're online, right? And they're looking at exactly what they're getting. They're reading the description right in front of them. It's not like going to McDonald's being like, I want a cheeseburger and there's no pickles today. Like they'll get to read on the description exactly what's in their sandwich, wrap, etc. And it gets difficult sometimes because there'll be times we're out of, say, avocados. Because guacamole is not, out of guacamole because avocados aren't ripe yet. And they'll put that in the notes, make sure you add, and then we'll have to call them and explain to them, hey, listen, I'm very sorry, we don't have guacamole right now, even though it's not listed, but they'll still request it because they know that's something that we normally carry.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, and Chef George, how does that affect your restaurant? That ability to be flexible and whether or not your ingredients available?
So the restaurant, it's basically the same idea. We have a platform that we're working with that we can make the changes as well and adjust on a daily basis. But also because we can keep a good inventory and also a track of that, we are able to see before it happens when we're going to be short of something. Especially now with COVID and the backlog that we're having on products arriving to the U.S. from other countries, that prices they're going up. But also the problem is there's a lot of ingredients that we have in shortage. As you said, the climate change is a problem because we have a lot of produce that it's coming from California, and when they have a drought, prices go up and there's a shortage as well. So we definitely can work around that. And it's really up to the owner, to the chef, to kind of keep track on ingredients, and it really pivot when it needs to when you need to pivot, you pivot. And people are mostly very understandable of that because they know what's going on. They know that we're still in a pandemic and they know that we're having shortage of everything. And they are very understandable when you explain to them what's going on. They are very receptive.
So are we going back to the days of this is what we're serving because it's in season?
I think we're always going to have those specials. Now more than ever, we definitely need to be ahead of the curve and try to foresee what's going to happen next week, next month, and try to change your menu. I mean, you know, our menu here at El Mercat, it's Spanish tapas. So there's a lot of things there like cured meats, cured cheeses, potatoes, and stuff like that. So it's very easy for me to pivot and change my menu when things needs to be changed.
Would you say that it also would create an opportunity to be creative? Maybe, you know, it's called a tapa, but it's something no one's seen before.
Most definitely, you can actually. That it's a great tool for a chef to be creative and go around, because those challenges really, you know, keep you thinking what you can do to solve this problem. And you know, 100% of the time, when you put your mind to try to solve a problem, you're going to come up with a solution for it.
And Chef Alan, when you started Starlight Cafe, did you introduce some new things to North Carolina?
Well, almost everything we did was kind of foreign to the majority of the people living here. It was like 20 years ago, and almost all of the restaurants were barbecue or fried chicken, served fried chicken, or collards, and coming from California, we actually had a difficult time selling pork in California. We didn't have much on the menu for that, and that's just the way Californians are. But I took a look around the community and to see what the population was like, and we have a big medical center, and a lot of people from all over the United States and other countries were kind of complaining about not being able to get the kind of food that they were used to. So we took a chance on it, and it was turned out to be a success right away.
So, you know, in the United States, there's a lot of obesity and diabetes and those kinds of issues. Do you find the population receptive to healthier eating habits, Chef Alan?
Well, you know, I mean, our restaurant is it's a fine dining restaurant, and most of the people, if you come into our restaurant, they're older people, and most of them are, I don't want to sound snobby, but more educated, and travel more, and so there's no resistance about. We print new menus every night, and we have a fantastic sous chef that does a vegetarian special every night, and it's very popular. And,
well, and that raises the question about younger diners, like, you know, College Park, University of Maryland students, Chef Naomi. What are the trends that you see? Are the younger generations thinking about eating healthier, or are they not?
Well, College Park is always thinking about eating pizza. I can say that for sure. We have pizza. Every block has pizza. Every block has 2 pizza places. However, I think the trend of eating healthier is slowly getting there. New restaurants are looking at replacing rice with lettuce. Like we have a lot of vegan options on our menus. We have options of not having rice, or, you know, putting lettuce on the bottom as well. And then you have chains like Cava, Chipotle, and different salad places come in. And if you look at And Pizza, like they're all pivoting towards eating healthy. And I think some people are definitely pivoting towards that. But then you also still see the McDonald's having that line around the block, or Chick-fil-A having that line around the whole building, and the Wings place and Popeyes and whatnot having extravagant lines and being very busy. So I think it's a mix of both. We at our establishment do get a lot of requests for people to eat healthy, to leave out rice or to leave out the bread and have some extra salad or lettuce, etc. So I do see the change.
That's great. That's good to know that people are taking that, that opportunity to try to eat healthier. Just for one more time, I know you did it really quick in the beginning. Can you give us the website for all those who want to check out your virtual kitchen?
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously one of our restaurants is Crazy Kebab. Crazy Kebab has been around since 2010. So you can just go to crazykebab.com. I also own Crazy Burrito.
Wait, but you don't spell it the way
Oh, that's
crazy.
right. I
So
don't
how do you spell it?
I spell it KRAZIKEBOB.com. Then for Crazy Burrito, it's KRAZI burrito.com. And Kebab Joint is KABOB joint.com. And these are the
Awesome.
three that we have.
Awesome. And Chef George, when is your restaurant going to be open?
Right now, we're working with the local government, and really the restaurant, it's ready. We were able to finish decorations and equipment arrived. And now we're just missing really the inspections from the county, Montgomery County and the city of Rockville. And once we get those green go, we can definitely start hiring people. Which
And
we
then
know-
you'll be ready to open, right? Well, that's
Correct.
great. So everyone keep in mind, there's going to be a new tapas place in Rockville. There's Starlight Cafe in North Carolina if you want to check it out. And don't forget about checking out the Ghost Kitchens. I'm Mariana Cordier. Thank you to my guests, the audience. Check us out on Facebook and YouTube. Good night, everybody.